I'm Zahir, Kelvin Abdullah, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Government to clarify implementation of expanded sales and service tax. An EPF account too may be tapped to cover health insurance premiums, says Minister. Good morning. The government is considering allowing the public to use account 2 of their EPF savings to pay for health insurance premiums. Should it be implemented, 16 million EPF members may benefit from private hospital care funded through their own contributions. Health Minister Datuk Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, in an exclusive interview with reporter Amanda Lopez, said the proposed model has been implemented in several other countries as part of efforts to ensure that most of their citizens have access to adequate health insurance coverage. This is in light of the fact that 32% of healthcare costs in the country are paid out of pocket by patients without insurance coverage. Zulkifli emphasized that the scheme will be offered as an option, not a mandatory requirement.
Satu percentage yang kecil untuk digunakan bagi pembayaran insurans ini. Mereka tak rasa pun, because the money dia tidak bayar daripada duit poket dia. It's just taken from that EPF-nya, KWSP-nya. So, ini cara yang paling baik. Jadi akhirnya rakyat kita semua akan insured. Seperti Singapura disebutkan, Amanda sebutkan tadi. Tapi kita tak boleh paksa. Ada negara paksa.
Zulkifli explained that it is important to offer this choice as some members may prefer broader insurance coverage available in the market. He noted that the proposed scheme is different from the current I Lindung initiative implemented with the EPF, as it only offers coverage for total permanent disability, critical illnesses and life insurance, not for general medical treatment. The government will also introduce the Rakan KKM initiative in the third quarter of this year. So far, the ministry has secured partnerships with 4 hospitals.
Pada waktu yang sama juga, kita create more space. Orang dah pergi pada Rakan KKM kan, tentu ada space yang untuk B40, they have more space, more time, more slot for B40 dan golongan pendapatan rendah, kerajaan, workers, civil servant to go to our public facilities. So these are all the system yang kita nak bina.
40 public hospitals with a combined capacity of 800 beds have also been identified to join this initiative gradually. The program involves an investment of 85 million ringgit. The government will issue a detailed explanation on the expanded sales and services tax, or SST, which are set to take effect on July 1st. Prime Minister Datuk Anwar Ibrahim said clarification is necessary due to confusion surrounding the taxation of certain imported goods such as fruits. Anwar said a misunderstanding has spread among the public, particularly the perception that all types of fruits will be subject to tax. This confusion also extends to the expansion of the service tax, especially in relation to private educational institutions.
Kita bagi penjelasan, mungkin kadang-kadang macam kenyataan umum macam katalah pisang dikenakan SST, jadi keliru. Sebenarnya pisang import. Jadi, tapi saya setuju kita akan perjelaskan kerana yang penting kita tidak mahu yang membebankan golongan bawahan ataupun M40.
Speaking to reporters after attending a PKR event in Iskandar Putri, Johor on Thursday, Anwar said clarification on the SST will be provided soon.
Kalau perlu 1-2 perkara ubah suai, tak ada masalah, kita boleh ubah suai. Tapi cukai ni memang tidak mudah lah. Semua orang kalau boleh tak mau bayar.
On June 9th, the government announced a targeted review of the SST rates. The tax rate will remain unchanged for essential goods, while a rate of between 5 and 10% will be imposed on non-essential items, subject to the government's discretion. Meanwhile, the new SST rates on selected imported goods, including fruits, may be reviewed. According to Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, this is as certain fruits such as apples and mandarin oranges are not grown locally and are fully imported. Speaking at an event in Bangi on Thursday, Zahir assured that the matter would be given due considerations as such fruits are among the most commonly purchased by the public.
Saya tahu tujuannya adalah untuk protect buah-buahan tempatan, tetapi kita tidak mengeluarkan apple, kita tidak mengeluarkan limau mandarin. Ya, jadi Kementerian Kewangan dan Kementerian Ekonomi saya yakin sedang melihat perkara itu.
He added that the government had taken note of the views expressed by various quarters, including industry players, on the new list of taxable items. He stressed, however, that the matter must be brought to the Cabinet for discussion before any decisions are made. Previously, the Finance Ministry said the expansion of the SST from July 1st, which includes a 5% tax on imported fruits, is strategically aimed at boosting demand for local agricultural produce and enhancing food security. In another development, the Prime Minister has described the Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone, or JSSEZ, as extraordinary, setting a new benchmark for bilateral economic cooperation between the two countries. Anwar said the economic zone has attracted international interest, including from Japan, China, South Korea and Europe.
You name me any economic zone that involves two countries based on total trust and working together as a team, formidable team to uplift both societies and countries.
Anwar said this during the closing ceremony of the Nikkei Forum Madini Johor 2025 on Thursday. He added that the JSSEZ is rapidly emerging as an international investment magnet driven by its strategic infrastructure, political stability and clear policy direction. Anwar also described the recently established Invest Malaysia Facilitation Centre in Forest City as a crucial catalyst for speeding up investment approvals. He also suggested that the centre should serve as a model to be adopted by state and federal agencies. Earlier in Kuala Lumpur, Anwar reiterated Malaysia's strong condemnation of Israel's airstrikes on Iran, which have killed over 600 people to date. The Prime Minister described the Zionist regime's actions as punitive and unprovoked and said they represent a blatant violation of international law. In his keynote address at the 38th Asia-Pacific Roundtable, Anwar said Israel's attacks were clearly intended to derail ongoing negotiations and to crush hopes for peaceful resolution in the region.
Because if we allow actions carried out with utter impunity, violating international law and eroding the norms that hold global order together, we will, of course, have a bleak future for all of us.
He also expressed a deep concern over Israel's continued military operations, describing them as a tragedy that has caused immense suffering to defenseless civilians. At least 639 Iranians have reportedly been killed in Israeli airstrikes since last week. The government will review the federal court ruling that the fatwa declaring the ideologies of liberalism and religious pluralism as deviant cannot be applied to NGO Sisters in Islam or SIS. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Datuk Muhammad Naim Mokhtar, said the move is aimed at safeguarding the standing and credibility of the fatwa institution in the long term. Naim said he respects the court's decision and upholds the principle of the rule of law, but emphasized that fatwas continue to play a vital role in guiding the Muslim community, especially on contemporary issues that require Sharia-based guidance.
Pada masa yang sama, kerajaan committed dan akan terus mempertahankan kedudukan institusi agama Islam selaras dengan perkara 3 Perlembagaan Persekutuan yang memperuntukkan bahawa Islam ialah agama bagi persekutuan.
He said the government will also ensure that the administration of Islamic affairs is carried out fairly and based on the principles of shura or consultation, knowledge and the rule of law. Earlier on Thursday, the Apex Court quashed a 2014 fatwa issued by the Selangor Islamic Religious Council, which labelled SIS as deviant for allegedly promoting liberalism and religious pluralism. Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, who led the panel, said that a fatwa could not be imposed on an organisation like SIS, which could not profess a religion. SIS failed in its previous challenge of the fatwa in the lower courts between 2019 and 2023. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, has expressed disappointment and deep regret over part of the federal court's decision. His Royal Highness emphasized that the misuse of the word Islam in the name and publications of SIS could cause confusion among the Muslim community. Following the decision, Sultan Sharifuddin, as the head of Islam in the state, urged the group to refrain from using the term Sisters in Islam in any form of publication or platform associated with their organization. This is to ensure that the term Islam is not used indiscriminately for the benefit or interest of the organization. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has filed a civil suit against 2 Telegram channels for allegedly spreading harmful content that could erode trust in public institutions and threaten social order. MCMC said the 2 channels, Edisi Siasat and Edisi Khas, were found to have published content that violated provisions under the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. In a statement, MCMC said this marks the first legal action of its kind against a social media platform provider, specifically targeting Telegram as an application service licensee. The move follows repeated failures by Telegram to act on reported content despite multiple attempts at dialogue and cooperation. MCMC has successfully secured an interim injunction from the High Court preventing the further spread and republication of harmful or unlawful content. The Commission said legal action was necessary to uphold the rule of law and safeguard public interest. Telegram will be given due opportunity to present its defence in accordance with principles of justice and fundamental rights. MCMC also reminded all social media platform providers to take full responsibility for the content shared on their platforms. The late Datuk Sri G. Palanival was laid to rest at the Sentul Hindu Crematorium in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday afternoon. The former MIC president passed away on Tuesday morning at Kuala Lumpur Hospital at the age of 76. A final farewell ceremony was held early in the day at his Bangsa residence. Over the past 2 days, family members, friends and prominent figures had been present to pay their final respects. About 60 people attended the final rites. Former colleagues also paid tribute to Palanival's legacy, noting that his contributions will be fondly remembered by Malaysia's Indian community. His remains were then brought to the crematorium at 3 p.m. for the cremation ceremony. The Plantation and Commodities Ministry will hold discussions with industry stakeholders to assess the potential impact of the expanded sales and service tax SST on the oleochemical sector set to take effect from July 1st. Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani stressed that feedback must come directly from those within the palm oil ecosystem, namely mill operators, refiners and oleochemical producers, and not from unrelated external parties.
Dalam konteks industri sawit ini, sama ada daripada mill, daripada refinery, oleochemical, I suruh dah Kementerian punya tim buat engagement and get the feedback from industry player. Kita tak boleh dapat feedback daripada orang yang tak terlibat dalam industri ni. Kita minta daripada industry player dan kita tengok which part. Sebenarnya dari
Johari also assured that raw materials meant for export will not be subject to SST, but added that the government is open to reviewing the policy if it undermines industry competitiveness. CIMB Securities previously projected that a 5% tax on palm kernel oil could raise input costs and disrupt downstream manufacturing operations. The minister emphasized that any tax policy must be implemented carefully to avoid damaging Malaysia's oleochemical sector, which contributes over 27 billion ringgit to national exports. Malaysia's domestic tourism spending surged by 22.1% to 29 billion ringgit in the first quarter of this year. According to the Department of Statistics, the number of domestic visitors rose by 18.9%, reaching 69 million during the period. The boost in domestic travel activity during the period was attributed to various seasonal factors. This includes the Chinese New Year celebrations, the Ramadan period, Hari Raya Fitri preparations and school holidays. As for modes of transport, land travel remained the dominant choice, with 97% of domestic visitors opting for road transport, while air travel accounted for just 2% of total domestic journeys. Stock markets in Asia edged lower on Thursday, while safe havens such as gold and the Japanese yen gained as investors remained on edge over the possible entry of the US into the week-old Israel-Iran air war. Japan's Nikkei sank 0.80%, with additional downward pressure stemming from a stronger yen, which reduces the value of overseas revenues for the country's heavyweight exporters. Taiwan's stock benchmark slid 0.90% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng declined 0.80%. Meanwhile, gold rose 0.30% to $3,378 per ounce, while the yen strengthened 0.20% to 144.92 against the dollar. This came as President Donald Trump left US involvement in Israel's strikes on Iran unclear, saying he might take action or he might not. Drugs worth more than 10 million ringgit seized. This and more after this breather.
Wow. Do you want to advertise your business with Malaysia's #1 media publisher? With Mari Local, you'll be able to promote your business on more than 30 platforms and reach more than 10 million users every month. Get started on growing your business by filling up your business details at revmedia.my/marilocal today.
Baik. Baik. Sekarang saya akan bagi keputusan trial kamu hari itu. Di tempat pertama. Please. Macam biasa. Alicia. Mana Alicia?
Misi anda adalah untuk dapatkan tiket Ejen Ali The Movie 2 di Pawagam berdekatan sekarang.
Keadilan. Apa yang dimaksudkan dengan keadilan? Apa kau percaya dalam dunia ni ada keadilan? Nyawa harus dibayar dengan nyawa. Darah harus dibayar dengan darah. Welcome to the gang, Andra.
Nampaknya kau memang ditakdirkan untuk jadi salah seorang daripada kita orang. Mafia.
Hapuskan anak-anak mafia tu, Hari Wijaya akan turut hancur. Begitu juga dengan segala merah.
Kalau dia pecah lubang kita, dia buka lubang dulu.
Kau nak jadi duri dalam daging ke apa?
Kalau bukan sebab geng, kau dah lama mampus macam mancing kura.
Thanks for staying with us. Police have foiled attempts to smuggle heroin base and MDMA powder worth 10.8 million ringgit into the country from Thailand following the arrest of 2 Malaysians. The suspects, a 37-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman, were arrested separately in Bukit Kayu Hitam, Kedah last Sunday.
Mereka menggunakan kenderaan persendirian yang telah diubah suai. Di bahagian belakang penumpang, dia ada special compartment untuk mereka sembunyikan dadah-dadah ini, yang mana dadah ini mereka perolehi daripada negara jiran kita, Thailand, di sebelah Pattaya.
Acting Director of the Narcotics Crime Investigation Department, DCP Mat Zani, alias Muhammad Salahuddin Che Ali, said the 2 suspects are unrelated. Neither suspect had a prior criminal record, and urine tests on both suspects returned negative for drug use. Initial investigations showed they were paid up to 20,000 ringgit each to transport the drugs into Malaysia. Both suspects have been remanded for 7 days from June 16 to the 22nd for further investigations. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has completed its final round of questioning involving a prominent corporate figure with a Tan Sri title as part of its ongoing probe into the alleged misappropriation of sukuk funds tied to a Klang Valley highway project. The latest session took place at the individual's residence in Kuala Lumpur and lasted nearly 4 hours, with 2 MACC investigation officers seen arriving at the premises at approximately 9:10 a.m. and leaving at around 4:30 p.m. This marks the 3rd time the corporate figure's statement has been recorded following earlier sessions on June 11th and 12th. To date, the MACC has frozen and listed local assets worth 141 million ringgit and is in the process of tracing foreign assets valued at an estimated 15 million ringgit connected to the case. Malaysia celebrated the 77th birthday of United Kingdom's King Charles at a reception hosted by the British High Commission in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday night. The event not only honoured the British monarch but also reaffirmed the long-standing and strategic partnership between the 2 countries. The reception began with Plantation and Commodities Minister Dato' Sri Johari Abdul Ghani leading a toast to King Charles' good health and well-being. British High Commissioner to Malaysia Ajay Sharma then reciprocated with a toast to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim. In his speech, Sharma highlighted the strong and growing trajectory of UK-Malaysia relations, citing both governments' shared commitment to strengthening bilateral ties under a strategic partnership framework. The event was attended by more than 700 guests, including members of Malaysian royalty, senior government officials, diplomats and business leaders. Record heat hits Japan. The details when Nightline returns.
Persahabatan semuanya ada di Ejen Ali.
Kita pengen punya lagu cinta yang BPM-nya kencang supaya cinta-cintaannya tuh ugal-ugalan.
Saksikan kuasa musik dan animasi meraihkan seni tanpa sempadan bersama kami Niji dalam Melody Showcase Niji X Agent Ali The Movie 2 Music Tour.
Sebagai suami tak bisa
pakai.
Cukup! Sebab dia nak jadi manusia yang bertanggungjawablah semua benda ni terjadi. Ibu cakap ceraikan Syah.
Ustazah, kau ni memang jenis bercakap tak tengok orang
Nombor 1, saya bukan ustazah.
Kau nak ugut aku, Aminah?
Awak ingat awak seorang je kan yang boleh main ugut-ugut?
Sayang sangat. Apa tengok siapa yang nak kau bawa macam kau ni?
Ni ada bersedia dengan aku ke hukuman. Besok yang dia ada buat.
Ada idea drama yang boleh viral atau nak jadi pelakon di TV3? Pitch story korang selama 10 minit berserta slide presentation ke TV3. Atau sertai pencarian pelakon drama sangat pada 14 Jun di Universiti Malaya dan Dallas University 21 Jun. Berumur 18 hingga 25 tahun. Tak kisah nak genre romantik, komedi, cinta atau isu semasa pun boleh. Menang hadiah terkumpul RM9,000 jika idea korang diterbitkan oleh Media Prima. Atau boleh berlakon sekali dalam karya drama sangat.
News from the foreign front. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz on Thursday threatened to assassinate Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, stating that he should no longer be allowed to exist. His comment came after Iranian missiles struck the main hospital in southern Israel and several residential buildings near Tel Aviv. Iran claimed that it was targeting a military site in that attack. In response, the Zionist regime said its fighter jets struck dozens of sites in Iran, including Natanz and the Arak heavy water nuclear reactor. The military said it specifically targeted the structure of the reactor's core seal, which is a key component in plutonium production. Officials said evacuations were made before the strikes and no risk of radiation or casualties was detected.
Other cities and
Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra faced mounting calls to resign on Thursday after a key coalition partner quit amid public outrage over a leaked phone call with former Cambodian leader Hun Sen. The incident has fueled political instability amid border tensions with Cambodia, raising fears of military clashes. During the June 15 call, Paetongtarn pressed Hun Sen for a peaceful resolution to the dispute, calling him uncle and urging him not to listen to the other side in Thailand, including an outspoken Thai army general who she said just wants to look cool. Paetongtarn has since apologized, stating that her remarks were part of a negotiation tactic and denying tensions with the military. Her coalition now holds a slim majority, which could collapse if more partners withdraw. In other news, sweltering temperatures prompted heat stroke alerts in multiple Japanese regions on Wednesday, with dozens of people seeking emergency medical care in Tokyo. The Japan Meteorological Agency reported that 14 cities across the country saw their highest ever June temperatures, with central Tokyo reaching a scorching 34.4 degrees Celsius. The sweltering temperature sent over 200 people to hospitals for heat-related illnesses since the beginning of the week, with 57 requiring emergency medical treatment for heat exhaustion and heat stroke on Wednesday alone, with 169 similar cases recorded the previous day. At least 3 heat-related deaths were also reported in other parts of the country this week. Sports now, football, the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. Manchester City began their campaign with a comfortable 2-0 victory over Morocco's Wydad Casablanca in their Group G opener on Wednesday. Despite fielding a second-string side, City needed less than 2 minutes to break the deadlock. Phil Foden pounced after Savinho's cross was parried by Wydad goalkeeper Mehdi Benabid, with the England midfielder striking a first-time effort into the net to hand City an early lead. Jeremy Doku then doubled the advantage 3 minutes before half-time, volleying home at the far post after Foden delivered a pinpoint corner that caught the Wydad defence napping. Although Wydad showed little sign of getting back into the game in the second half, Pep Guardiola's side held firm to claim all 3 points and move to the top of Group G. On to tennis, the 2025 Queen's Club Championships in the United Kingdom. Jack Draper survived the scare to reach the quarterfinals with a gritty 3-set win over Australia's Alexei Popyrin on Wednesday. The British second seed recovered from squandering 2 match points at 4-5 in the third set and then rallied from 2-4 in the third set tiebreak to overcome Popyrin 3-6, 6-2, 7-6. Draper will next face American Brandon Nakashima after he defeated British wildcard Dan Evans to reach back-to-back quarterfinals on grass after his recent run at the Stuttgart Open. Earlier, Roberto Bautista Agut staged a remarkable comeback to defeat rising Czech star Jakub Mensik in a gripping second-round match. Despite losing the first set 3-6, the Spaniard clawed his way back into the match to claim the remaining sets 6-3, 7-5. The experienced Bautista Agut now meets Danish fourth seed Holger Rune in the next round. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as over 5,000 kite enthusiasts from 26 countries gathered on the Danish island of Fano to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the island's Kite Festival. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin and Abdullah. Thank you for watching and have a good day ahead.